Hi there, Serial Trader here. Just going to do a quick update from the last video on McDonald's, as there has been some positive development since then. So since the last video, we came down a little further here to make the low here for this proposed wave E of 4. And so far it's been cooperating quite nicely. I actually entered some stock positions in some of my accounts in the 178s. So I had a nice entry there. Again, we were expecting a little bit lower prices after that last video before potentially getting in the buy zone, and it cooperated nicely with that. And I also bought a option position, and I'll look at that shortly here on Thinkorswim. But you can see here this BD trend line that I had drawn. We're now starting to get above that here, and we've closed above it. So this could be the early stages of the triangle thrust starting and getting out of this consolidation that we've been in, and going up to attack new highs above 190.88. So far so good. Starting to get a bullish MACD cross here on the daily MACD, and you can see that we're also well above the zero line with these MACD moving averages, indicating that technically the trend is up according to that indicator. And what else is there to mention here? Had a nice volume spike today, so certainly some big money behind this at least initial upward move. And if we just zoom out here, we'll look at this. So if we zoom out, this is kind of how we're expecting things to unfold. Obviously it could be quicker than this is displaying as far as time goes, but as far as the price levels, so we have the triangle thrust measurement, which is projecting off that apex area of the triangle. That will get us up to around $208 a share. And then we have the 1.32 reverse fib of the largest part of the triangle here, the A wave. That gets us to basically 200, 199.22. And then the 2.0 multiple of that A wave reverse fib is 212.72. And there's some other relationships as well, but basically we're looking for a good move to 200 plus, and just as kind of a minimum. You can certainly exceed the triangle thrust measurement, but that's viewed as a high confidence kind of minimum expectation once you break out of the triangle. So I like that we're going up to around, I'll say around 210 or so. But once we get more development and we get closer to that area, we'll certainly have a better idea with the new substructure as to what kind of targets to be looking for at that point. But just for now, based on the current information, that seems like a reasonable target. And I'll also highlight that we may not be out of the woods just yet, even though it looks quite promising. This could still just be, and bear with me here, I'll delete those subdivisions. It still hasn't fully proven itself, although it's certainly looking good. But what I'm getting at is this could still just be a further developing D wave, okay? And I'm just playing devil's advocate here, because until you get true price confirmation, you can't be 100% confident. And really, you can never be 100% confident, but you can't be more confident until you get this. So it's possible that we're still just doing another ABC up for the, what will be a larger D wave than initially proposed. And as long as that fails below this B wave high, which is at 189.42, that's still possible. And you can still come down again for that E wave. And of course, we'd have to adjust our triangle trend lines if that happened. But then eventually you would still be expecting that upward thrust out. And also, aside from that, now I'm not saying that this is the case. In fact, ideally, the triangle is complete and we're moving up from here. Certainly reasons to believe that here, but I just want to make sure I highlight that it's not a certainty. Well, it never is, right? But another thing is, as I point out in the other video, and let me go over here, and let's get into here, 4-hour chart. It's also still possible that we're doing a triangle B wave within a larger ABC. Again, I don't think this is the higher probability interpretation, but it's certainly still something that we need to be aware of. And if that's the case, we may just be coming up in this E wave of B. And again, that is as long as we're right there now. We're about to invalidate, at least on a short-term basis, this interpretation. So if we get above, let me get this number here, 185.63, we can pretty much rule out that this is taking place, although so far we haven't gotten there yet. We got as high as 185.37. So right there, close to invalidating this, at least on a short-term basis. But if we failed here and came down, we could still be doing the A, triangle B, and then a C wave thrust down. Again, I don't view this as the higher likelihood scenario, but still has not been invalidated yet. But anyways, we'll go back to this other chart for a moment. So right now, if you're long stock, which I am in some of my accounts, well, I now have a stop above break even since it's so close to the bottom. I think my stop is just below 179, so it would capture. And I might actually adjust that stop a little tighter here since we had this. If I go in on the 1 hour chart, maybe, and let me scale this back. All right. Yeah, so on the 1 hour chart, we did have a nice little pullback. So I might use that as a new stop just to lock in a certain amount of the open profit in case we do come back down. And that would be just below 180.69. So 180.68 could be a pretty tight stop to lock in some of that open profit. But really the ultimate stop as far as invalidating the current immediately bullish interpretation would be this E wave low. And that would be if we took out 178.27. So that is the current line in the sand for keeping this immediate bullish interpretation open. Otherwise, we could still be developing further in one of the two triangle scenarios, right? Now, okay, I like that we're getting above this BD trend line. Definitely would want to see it get above 185.65 for more confirmation, and then basically ultimate confirmation. We'll be getting above this B wave level, and that's 189.42, which really isn't that far away. I mean, okay, so in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so in 6 trading days, we moved from basically 178 up to mid 185s. So we moved up a good $7 or so in 6 trading days. So we're at 185 now. Getting above the B wave here would be 189.42. So we don't even need as much of a move as we've already had to start getting confirmation, like a really high degree of confirmation that, okay, we're coming up in this triangle and going to new highs. So I just thought I'd update that. So far, so good. It's looking real textbook so far. I like it. I'll go with the thinkorswim candlestick chart. And, okay, we'll quickly go to the page here. So I got into some McDonald's calls expiring on the 21st of June 2019, so the June monthlies. 190 strike. I paid $262 for those calls, and currently we're sitting on about a little over $10,000 of open profit on those. And just go over here, you can see the trade price $262, and market price as of the close here on Friday currently just about $4, $397.5. So yeah, up almost 11,000 on those. So that was a nice buy-in. So in my more aggressive account, I bought those out of the money calls, and then obviously in some of those other, more retirement style accounts, I bought the stock. Now, okay, I'll get to this. Now on this candlestick chart, it looks good, and you can see we had this nice moving average compression. We had the some shorter term moving averages, kind of a cluster with this 50-day moving average. Now we have the 20 moving above the 50. We have the 50 acting as nice support, and we're above the T line, and the 3 T lines crossed above the T line. Volumes coming in, stochastics moving up, not in the overbought condition yet, so everything's kind of green lighted there for further upside continuation. But what I want to do is get into a little closer and just look at the candlesticks. So we had that nice bullish hammer, and I think that basically occurred the day after I made the first video, so the very next day. Bullish hammer there, and then we confirmed, went higher. Then we went higher again with another bullish hammer, and it closed above the T line. We had this doji candle here, still above the T line though, and then we had another bullish hammer, closed above the T line, and actually it engulfed the real body here, engulfed the doji's real body. So it's kind of a combination of a bullish hammer and a bullish engulfing. And then, of course, close above the T line. And then today, obviously, nice continuation of the upside and a large green real body on good volume. And looking like we're going to break these initial resistance levels pretty soon here. So I decided to do an update on McDonald's. Hopefully it's been useful. So far it's a good trade. And well, let's see how good this out of the money option call could get here. So if we get to $200 a share, looking at around, as it currently stands, at expiration will be a little different. As it currently stands, $200 a share will be around $80,000 profit. At expiration will be about 60. If we get to $210 a share, it'll be $145,000 profit, or around 140 at expiration. And if we get to $220 a share, you know, a more lofty upside target, we'd be looking at $220,000 of profit. And again, this is off of an initial position that was $21,000. And also, I didn't even realize at the time, but instead of buying 80 calls, I bought 81, so unusual number, but that was just order entry error. So yes, I have 81 of these calls, just for the record. Again, 81, 190 strike, June 21st calls. All right. Well, update this again when something else occurs that requires some attention. All right, Serial Trader signing off.